Hey everyone, I am Kim with Abundant Life Tarot. This is my June month in review. Thank you for joining me. And I'm going to dive right in. I'm not going to waste any time here. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have a wonky setup. I have my laptop here and the camera over here. So forgive me if I'm looking all over the place. So welcome. And when you join the room, if you'd be so kind as to let me know whether or not you can hear me and see me okay. Because it's always a little, not always, I don't want to claim that into my existence, but sometimes it's a little sketch. All right, let's go here. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you all about my month of June and looking back at it and just sharing what I loved in terms of what was happening in my life, maybe some challenges, and then also just going over some things, you guys, like decks and crystals and books and YouTube channel recommendations and all that good stuff. So if you're catching it on the replay, that's fine too. Share a comment with me on how your June, worked itself out. What were some of the highlights for you in your month? I want to hear from you. Uh-oh, my video's pixelated. Hi, Mimi. It's pixelated. That's no bueno. Oh, don't make me have to go out and in. I swear. Hi. Don't make me have to start this over. Okay. I want to have to start it over again. Oh boy. I'm going to have to go back to videos, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Hi, Angel Moon. Thank you. I received the blessings. Oh my God, I send you blessings. Thank you. All right. Is it still pixelating? Because if it is, then what will I do? Will I have to leave the studio and come back? I try to think, like, what can I do to make this better? All right. Let me do this. I think I know what the issue is. Let me do that. And then myself. Okay. Is it better? Is it worse? What's happening? Let me know. I'm upset because I have so much to share with you guys today, like about June and all that good stuff. So, darn it. Same. Okay. Well, that sucks. It's going to make me have to leave the studio, and I'm scared to do that. Let's do this. Okay, let me see, guys. I'm going to have to end and go back in. Let me see. All right. If it's still the same, then I'll have to end the broadcast and restart it. Because I think I realized the problem though. I was uploading something, so I stopped uploading it, and maybe, just maybe. But yeah, I will end it like I had to do the last live stream and then return. Oh, it's much better? Yay! Okay, I remember a YouTuber I was watching, not tarot related at all, but she's been doing this for like 10 years, and I don't know how long she's been doing lives, but I always watch and pay attention to how she troubleshoots stuff, like, and see what she does. And I remember her saying, "Oh, let me stop uploading something." So, hello, Iridescency. Oh my God, I love that name. Oh yay, I'm so happy I don't have to like end it and then come back. It's such a like panic thing. How are you guys doing? How's it going? How was your June? Like my June, it was interesting. Is life on planet Earth is always interesting. Beautiful, expansive, amazing, but yet it can be challenging if I'm to be perfectly honest. And that's what I'm going to be with you guys. That works for me. Like, let me know in the chat, how was your June? What stuff were you loving in June as I share my little list of things, what I was loving and what I was doing. So, right off the bat, kicked off June with a Hoodoo tarot study. This week, the last week of June going into July, I had to kind of pull back a little. I still did the daily draws as per my own instructions, but I didn't inundate the Facebook group, with a bunch of my images like I have been doing. I've been wanting to ramp up people feeling comfortable adding their draws and their spreads and what they've been working with and questions that they may have. But in the midst of me leading the group, I was going through some changes. I was going through some uncomfortable moments in my spiritual journey and in my physical. Obviously, our spiritual journey is a part of our physical reality, as is our physical reality is a part of our spiritual journey. They're not detached. We're all, it's all together. So there were big things happening with doing all this ancestral work with the Hoodoo Tarot deck. And it all kind of caught up to me. I ended up getting slammed with reading requests, which is wonderful. I love that. I love helping people. And with my repeat clients. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. I love having this whole connection with them. But I was feeling the pressure of the tarot study group and wanting to make sure I showed up there. And then feeling the pressure of everyday work life. And then the language, y'all, the language barrier. I understand, at least now, I understand better than I could speak it. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. So then we're building a house, and that comes with ups and downs, lots of ups. And I keep meaning to do like a little quick reel or little shorts on the channel where I show you guys little bits of the progress that's happening with it. And I do promise to do that because it is happening fast, but not fast enough. Like, I'm tired. I think I get tired of working in this tight space, and I feel constricted in here. And then there was also just shifts everywhere, in every relationship, every close relationship as I was doing this ancestral work. And I had to get comfortable this past month with being uncomfortable, which I'm one of those people who loves to dive right into change. Like, I'm always that one who's got something added or something like different and new in my world. My old time friends and family will tell you that about me. I just like that. I'm a change agent. But no, this is a different level of discomfort. This is a different level. Like, yeah, just different, challenging, but I'm excited. So I am actually going to get back into doing spell work. I had started to do that like about 1.5 years before I left the United States. And so I have a particular spell that I'm going to be working on in conjunction with kind of like my practice. I'll be sharing tidbits in the Facebook group about it. I don't want to share too much of. I like the sacredness. And probably what I may do is just share certain aspects of it, like my process, but I don't know. I'm new to this, so we'll see how I feel about that. I can't be like, it's going to be like that. So I'll be sharing in the Facebook group. as I move along, or maybe as it's underway and I feel solid about it. I love the Facebook group. I love Abundant Life Tarot group. The people there are amazing. I can't gush about it enough. It's been such a highlight in my life. So probably this weekend I'll be diving back in. You guys are going to be getting posts for me again. I wanted to give you guys a break, give myself a little breather because I was I wanted to make sure that people were getting the support that they needed in the group as they're working with this powerful little deck, the Hoodoo Tarot. Where are you? I wanted them to feel supported by me, if nobody else. And this week, man, I got slammed. One of our good friends that we just met here in January, she's going to Mexico and then back to the States. And I'm gonna miss her dearly. We had a going away party, a surprise going away party for her, and that was exciting. And lots of changes. That's the life now that I lead. So here's the Hoodoo Tarot, and yeah, this is a freaky card. That's a freaky card. Two of Knives. I don't know, the eyes. I'm an eyes kind of person. I like to look into your eyes, and there are no eyes. So this has been, and I don't know why my live isn't showing up. I hope there's no problem there. Not my live, my chat. I'm not seeing anything come through, so I'm just going to keep going. And then maybe it'll kick in. Maybe I should check on my phone if y'all have been chatting or not. This is the traditional moon, but it's called Pa. Like Ma and Pa. So, heavy stuff. But my intuition has been so heightened. Like, doing readings now is at a whole nother level. Like for my client readings, like it's that's been a nice byproduct of all this deep work. And I don't like to call it shadow work because it gives it like literally a dark connotation when it's really just actively working on your spirituality, in my opinion. But yeah, all right, moving on. Let's move on. Thank you, Iridescent C. Okay. Your name is perfect for the Caribbean turquoise blue. It looks magical and like iridescent. I'll be taking you guys along because I want to show you as it starts to open up a little bit again out here. I know it's opening up in the rest of the world. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right, let's talk about YouTube. You know, I like to share what I've been up to with YouTube and watching. And I'm not talking about me doing so much as I'm talking about consuming. Did you guys check out the Llewellyn's, what do they call it? Llewellyn's, LllewellynCon 2021. So it's like their virtual, spiritual, magical, witchy, tarot-related tarot conference that they did over a 2-week time period. Super cool, free on YouTube. I'll make sure I'm pretty sure I put the link to the particular session that I'm going to talk about in just a sec, but check out the entire thing. They have a playlist on the Llewellyn channel. I think that's just Llewellyn. I'm not sure. But it was new to me. I was like, oh, I need to subscribe. Okay. I did not realize. So, I mean, I knew that they would have a channel, but I just didn't think they were actively putting stuff on there. I don't know. But Stephanie Rose Bird, she put on a session. Her session was on Juneteenth. And so it was I think it's called a Hoodoo celebration of Juneteenth, because in the United States, it became a federal holiday. In my own home state of California, it had become a state holiday, I think a year or two before. I want to say a year, maybe two. I don't know. All the time is blurring. But it was quite special. And I did put the link to that video and check it out. She's a special lady. She's wrote some amazing books on Hoodoo, and I have some on my Nook. No, not my Nook. My Kindle. Not my Nook. I do have a Nook, but just an amazing lady. And it was so beautiful to have her do her hoodoo instruction and little ritual she wanted to share with us for Juneteenth, the holiday. And I don't want to get all emotional, but that was a highlight for me, a huge highlight. Um, so check that out. That's on YouTube, free, free 99. Um, what else? Oh, tarot off the cuff. I have talked about tarot off the cuff before, and I have made a commitment to do some more videos for that channel. That channel features it features folks from our tarot community who sometimes they have different kinds of segments, but the ones that I resonate with most and the ones I like to participate in is the tarot off the cuff concept, where you're shuffling the cards and seeing like what card comes up, and then you go on a rip. You talk off the cuff about that particular card. You can talk about your personal experiences as a tarot reader. You could see what messages are downloaded to share with. It's usually with the slant though of educating and sharing with a colleague, whether you're a new colleague, a new tarot reader colleague, or an old time seasoned tarot reader. So it really is a great resource. It's a new channel, newish channel. And it's really awesome because there's some giants on there that can contribute their time and energy to creating some videos that will inspire you and help you grow. I learned something, or I'm tickled, or I'm inspired every time I watch those videos. So yes, and I do plan to do my little contribution of videos as soon as possible. So I'll be, yours truly will be on the channel, on the Tarot Off the Cuff channel too. And oh, I had to apologize, guys. So there's some sounds. Not only are there some technical stuff, but there's some construction out there. It's hot as hell, so there is a fan blowing. Hello, Tarot Girl Live. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Oh, I'm glad you caught me. I'm glad to be here. It's actually really fun for me to do lives and chat with you guys and just do it this way. And I just feel like the month in review is the perfect opportunity to do that, see what you guys have been up to, and I share what I've been up to. So what else? So that's it for YouTube channels. Random, I have to have a random something that I was into or concerned about. Where are you? Oh my gosh, it's over here. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, I had to get it. So, oh my gosh, it's my drum. So I've been worried about it. Here's this little. Okay, this drum is quite special to me. I had it specifically made for me, and I had the artist surprise me with what was going to be drawn on the drum. And so when it was a butterfly, I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect. It was a birthday gift. So my husband paid for it, but it was for me. And I paid the gentleman who created the drum, which I can't find the gentleman now. I had an emergency with the drum and can't find them. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But this is my drum. And it was a day after he signed it. It was a day after my 38th birthday that I got it. And the gentleman is Native American. He lived on the border between Texas and Oklahoma. And it was a process. And he would kind of share along the journey of where my drum was in the process. And so it means a lot to me. I've taken it on women's retreats and banged on it and loved on it. And it was also in a dry climate in Sacramento. Very dry. Like, that's another thing I'm like, getting used to, is the humidity, the change of climate. It's not bad. It's actually perfect. I never have to wear a jacket. My skin loves it. You know, my skin is very happy right now. Whereas in Sacramento, it's super dry, like dry, 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 dry. And I have to wear a lot of moisture, a lot of moisture. Use a lot of moisturizing products for my hair especially. So yeah. Anyways, dry. So it was shipped. I didn't want it to be damaged with me traveling on the plane. So I didn't want it to be damaged and damn construction sounds. Um, so I had it shipped. And you guys remember that I had decks shipped, right? So it was in one of the boxes where the decks were being shipped, but it took me months to get it. So it was just sitting somewhere for months, like 3 months. And it was in a, let me show you. It was in this, it feels like flannel or felt, a combination of both. This is its bag that I hold it in. Let me see. I can't see it, but anyway, it's cute. But so it's super dry. So it was probably like retracting, expanding with every change of temperature that it was going through from the time it left cold Sacramento, super cold when we left, to waiting around in Miami for a minute, and then finally, oh, and then also in customs in Santo Domingo, then finally getting to me. It was just so it didn't sound the same. It's just like, it just did not. So I wanted to reach out to the guy who made it, and I can't find him. Like, he's gone. I don't know where he's at. I hope he's okay. But I Googled, thank you Google, and found out that, oh, hello, Scott. You put Scott. Thank you, Scott. Hi, Scorpio Moon Tarot. I like to go by our beautiful creative names that we came up with for ourselves. But I love that you put Scott. Thank you. That's from last time. Okay. So, anyhow, I found out that actually it being in a moist climate, even though it was sounding really like dull and lost, it was completely flat. And I was so sad because I don't know much about drums. I just know I like to dance to a drum beat. I just know I like to be around folks drumming. That's just what it is. But to baby a drum, I didn't know. So apparently super dry climates aren't the greatest for it either, but super wet climates are as well. But the changes aren't bad. And that one site said that I just need to hug it and kind of like warm it up with my body temperature. So great. This is so great. I did that, and slowly but surely, the sound is starting to come back. But it used to be so like, boom, like just, like feel the reverberation in your body. And so at least it's not flat. So the little techniques of what they suggested, have it out. I took it out of that felt / flannel bag that I carry it around in. So it can be out and about in the natural humidity of it all. And it does seem to be helping. So for those who have a drum and you're like me, kind of new at that whole thing of managing one, well, don't despair. Don't despair. It actually adds certain like different hollow and then deeper sounds that I didn't really have before with the drum. So that's kind of magical, and I have to go with the flow. So this was happening in June as well, me discovering that it was flat. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. I love right back at you. Okay, my drum. So I'm going to talk about books. So the first book I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. Does it do it? Oh, yes, it does. Okay. I hope you guys can see it. The first book I want to discuss is A Secret History of Memphis Hoodoo, Root Workers, Conjurers, and Spirituals by Kail. So here's the book. And I have to read this book in bite-sized moments. So I'm going to continue reading it in July, but I had to digest bits and pieces. But I love it so much because I've mentioned it before on the channel. Hold on. Go back here. Let's go back here. I mentioned it before on the channel about how I was planning to read it. So I started to read it, and it was like, whoa, it's a lot, because it's like not just me reading about history, of course, but it's reading about my family's history, because it's like reading my family's history, and it's very powerful but inspirational. But I highly recommend it. I have not finished it yet. I'm still bite-sized by bite-sized day, like each day reading a few pages, digesting it, and then processing, maybe journaling at times, depending on what comes up or where I'm at. I'm only like a third of the way through, so I'm going to take my time reading it. And Kail also wrote another book. I want to say it's like, I forgot the name of it. I don't want to misspeak, but I'm going to be reading that book as well. So, ooh, hello, Gen Science. Oh, I love that. I know your channel because I'm a subscriber, but I'm actually processing your name. Science to Soul, Tarot and Transformation. OMG. Now, I see it all the time because I am a subscriber, but it's nice to be able to pause for a moment and just look at y'all's glorious names. Okay, moving on to the second book. Second book is My Moonology Diary by Yasmin Boland. This is probably my third diary. Oh my God, they're really going to town today with the construction. I can't close the window, guys. I would, but then I'll be a sweating mess. Moonology. And she created the Moonology Oracle. There's the Moonology book that, I'm assuming kicked this off, this whole Moonology thing. I have the deck. Oh no, my son, I gave it to my son. I was toying with getting another copy, but my son loves it. I gave it to him. I was like, no, I still have the Moonology book at my parents' house. This is a diary though, and it's like I want to call it like a moon almanac, with the planetary information. So for example, we are having a new moon in Cancer. So you can see that, so pretty, so pretty. You can write in it. It has prompts for us. I use those. The new moon in Cancer, the key energies of this moon are shedding, sexiness, homeliness, and dynamicism. And so it has the date, which is, so for London and Sydney, it's July 10th, and they have even the times and the degrees. It's all the same degrees, apparently. And Los Angeles and New York is on July 9th. So it will talk about all what you can expect in this new moon cycle, and what would be ideal to work on your manifestation work or your spell work. So I do plan to prepare and start the spell work that I mentioned before at the beginning of this live, to this new moon in Cancer, because this is an area that I'd like to work on: shedding, sexiness, homeliness, dynamicism. And it has a new moon affirmation: my loved ones and I are safe, and for that I'm grateful. And then I put my new moon wishes and intentions list, and then it has different questions throughout the year. What can I do to improve my home life? What would a more robust spiritual practice do for me? It's right in line with my Hoodoo Tarot study work. Can I spend more time visualizing my goals and feeling them as real? How many minutes a day am I willing to commit to it? And then it has like a diary actually where you put in some, it's like, a planner, but not really. I don't know. I use it more for um, inspirational things to me, things that stood out that kind of was like, oh, this was like a beautiful serendipitous moment, an affirmation that I wanted to consider for that day. It shows the new moon. Let's get the little, I can't show you that close, but July 27th is when the Moonology Diary 2022 comes out on Amazon. I'm going to probably pre-order it and have it sent. I like to get it early. I just really like it. I really do. And it goes into quite into depth, even about the month of June. It goes in. So each month it has something for not just the different moon cycles, but also for the month ahead. Quite interesting. So that's the Moonology. You guys know about that? Do you have it? Let me see. Oh, I'm so glad you called. I know a few of you guys are like, I'm so glad you called me live. I'm glad you called me live too. I need to spread the live love around and try different times. The only reason why I don't like this time is because of all that noise. Oh, okay. Easy is the first book to read. I'm assuming you're talking about The Secret History. Um, I'm assuming. Let me know in the chat if that's what you're talking about, The Secret History of Memphis Hoodoo or this one. Um, it is a little, oh my gosh, you're up early? Oh my goodness, you are up early. I didn't, okay, so this is really cool that we connected, unless you wake up this early every day. Okay, so it is challenging, not in a bad way. It's an easy, flowy read. I would grab and I would read some text. It's not like it's super collegiate where it's like, they're using scholarly words. No, it's not that. It's the content where they're talking about how they treated people post-slavery, African American people, Black people, how they really how they not just white people, but so I'm in the chapters where they're talking about this, where it's not just white people, but it was Black people who were indoctrinated to start to believe that hoodoo was evil now, and it was old timey and outdated, and it just people shouldn't believe in that, and they started really moving away from it, and so it's just challenging to read for me because I saw and heard my grandmother talk about it with her sisters. My mom saw her grandma, who would be my great grandmother, talk about it. I mean, and you're starting to now get into generations that have entered slavery because I'm descendants of slaves. So, and in Memphis, it's just like an hour and 45 minutes from where my family is mostly at, on both sides of my mom and my dad's side of the family. So it's hard, it's challenging for me because of the content, but it's a great read, and I do encourage people to check it out because I think it's an unsung part of history in America that should be explored. Just my 2 cents. Let's see, I used to wake up this early every day, but these days the struggle is for real. It is real. It is real. Sometimes I'll randomly wake up at 4, just because, and I'll pitter around the house for a minute, and then I'll start to get a second wave of sleepiness and go back to sleep for a couple of hours, then I'll wake up again. But the struggle is real. I can't even make promises on that either. Sometimes I'm like, I need till 8 at least. Hold on. Yeah, it is a page turn for sure. And probably, you know what I'm thinking of, Tarot girl? I'm thinking that for me, the issue is not so much the content either. It's that plus I'm doing the Hoodoo tarot study, and there's a lot of information here in this book, and a lot of thinking and a lot of processing, and so sometimes it's a lot. And so that's why I had to kind of pump my brakes on just totally reading it all the way through. I had to give myself grace and space to process it, but yeah, we got to get through it though, because it is a good read. Wow. Let's see. Hello, Aquarius Owl. Ow. Ow. Oh. I don't know. I'm having troubles with owl. Owl. Okay. So we talked about the books. Let's talk about the stones. Let me take a quick sip of my tea. We're moving along. I know maybe once I finish the book, hopefully soon, it's one of my summer read books that I've assigned to myself. I may do a proper video book review. I don't usually do book reviews because I don't really go through books that fast, and so y'all will be moved on by the time I finally get ready to doing a book review. But this one I may do one. So I put that on the list of video ideas. Okay. Crystals we'll touch upon, and I'm missing one. Well, I'll just mention it. So this is my tiger's eye, and I have a beautiful piece, but it's I see it is in a bag, my traveling altar bag. I'm not going to bother with getting it. You all probably have a good idea of what tiger's eye looks like. My husband got himself a tiger's eye necklace that now I insist that he wears whenever he's out and about traveling, even about town. For me, I believe that it protects your journeys near and far, and he wears it, and I'm happy for that. But I started back using it in some of the crystal healing work that I do, and I love tiger's eye. Love it, love it, love it. I wish I could show you the other piece, but for time's sake and because the construction's grating my nerves, I'll keep moving. But let's see. Oh, let's see what you're saying about, she says, now I'm holding you to that book review. Please do. Because it's like in school where you need a little pressure from the teacher saying, okay, guys, you have until this date to get the book done, and then you got to do your book review. I need a little pressure, so don't hesitate. Okay, I can't work with tiger's eye. It's too much for me for some reason. I have some stones that are too much for me. I end up giving my son, I have a piece of raw fluorite, and I had a big chunk of it that I gave to my son because it was too much. I couldn't sleep next to it. It couldn't even be in the bedroom with me. It could be downstairs, in the living room or something. And so interestingly enough, I don't have that same reaction, but maybe because it's not as much stone. It was a big stone that I gifted to my son. He inherited Dex. That's my oldest son, my 23-year-old who lives in Georgia. He inherited decks, crystals, books, all kinds of magical little stuff. I'm grateful that I have a kid that's into it like I am. So, yeah. No. And then the other stone that I will show you guys is Larimar. So my husband knows that I was really craving shopping for crystals. When I did my Depth Year 2020, crystals was also on the list. So, and also it worked out because the gem fair that comes around 4 times a year to town where they're selling, it's wholesale prices for those who can purchase wholesale for crystals and stuff at a really great price, really beautiful pieces. well, that came to an end because of the pandemic. So I didn't really have to worry about shopping for crystals. And I only bought crystals for like giveaways, not for me. So he knew how much I was missing it. So Larimar is native to here. It is actually maybe a town that's like an hour and a half from here, I was told, is where this originates from. And to me, it reminds me of the ocean. Like if you look down and you're looking at like the ocean, at least in California, where the high cliffs, and you look down and you see like the storms. And my husband got it, and one of the healing properties to it is it helps you to chill out, relax, tranquil vibes, and I actually really needed that. And he got me a pendant that I need to find a like silver necklace or something, or maybe even just a leather something, I don't know, to wear around my neck. And I love it. So anyhow, those are my crystals. Let's see. What are we saying here? Very cold, yeah. But I had a ton of my tiger's eye when we were traveling. Like I'm one of those people that has a little bit. I used to have a lot of anxiety on planes, like a lot, like to the point where I like audibly screamed in turbulence and caused the whole plane to freak out. Like it was bad at one point. I have come a long way with meditation and mindfulness. Okay, so tiger's eye is what I travel with. It's what I travel with. I would keep it in the car. When my son started driving, I had them have a little piece of it in their car, you know, like in the cup holder or something like that. So it's just, who knows? Okay. Oh, wow, it's cold. It's not cold here. Oh my gosh, when I go back to the States in December, it's going to be where I'm going to be going. It's going to be, well, I hate to say it's cold. I talked to a Canadian gentleman and he was like, girl, that is not cold. But I'm like, to me, daytime getting to like only 42 to 45 degrees, that's cold to me. So, but he was like, I think, oh, I'm like, well, so I don't like to say that. But here it is very temperamented. Like the temperature, it just stays in the low to high 80s, but it gets kind of muggy. Okay, now we're moving on to the oracle and then to the tarot. So the oracle, you guys know about. Which one are we going to talk about first? Because I talk about them. And I like to be real with you. I'm not going to just bust out some decks that I didn't either use or appreciate or really use often. I want to give you the real. I don't want to be like, oh, I could show you this deck and show you this one just to change it up. I prefer to err on the side of, no, let me show you how much I love these decks. The only one that I don't do that with is the Light Seers, because you would be tired of me. You'll be tired because I use it every single day in client readings. So that's the only one that I'm like, I'm not going to worry y'all out with that. But the rest is ones that I was loving. Okay, Oracle. This is the Sibyl's Oraculum. Let me see. How do we go? It's Oracle of the Black Doves of Africa. Uh-oh. Let's see. Hey, MA. I'm so happy you are here. Thank you for joining. Oh my gosh. Did you say I melt over 70 degrees? Do you? I like it hot. Now, Sacramento has recently had an heat wave where my dad was like, it's gotten to like 110, but that's kind of par for the course in summer. Like you're going to get those kind of days in Sacramento in the summertime, and that's Fahrenheit. And I don't know what it translates to Celsius, but it gets very dry, hot. And like at night, I love it because then there's a delta breeze that comes through that feels just so silky and like, and it's warm. I'm not a fan of cold. Not a fan of cold. And I can't really drive in snow. Never, I've only done it once. Oh my gosh. That's an extreme jump. 100 degrees Wednesday and then 60 today. Whew. Whereabouts are you again? Remind me. I would think you told me too. I'm jealous of your 100 degrees. Yeah. And yeah. It can get intense though, especially if your AC goes out. It can get intense. Okay. So this is the Sybil's Oraculum, and obviously I've been using this one, and I talk about it all the time, it seems, because of the Hoodoo Tarot study. This was created by Tiana. She's the creator of the Hoodoo Tarot, and then the same artist, who is artwork by Katie V. Voicey, and the creator's Tiana Lee McQuiller. And I just love how it looks so ancient and antique, and I don't know what the art style is. There is a system that you can employ with this deck. There is a system. I don't follow the system. I just use it as is, like shuffle all the cards. Because if you look, you'll see different colors. It's probably hard to see on this. I'm sure of it, but it's different colors. But I just use it with, it's one of the accompanying decks that I like to add to the Hoodoo Tarot. I switch on my Oracle as we've been doing the Hoodoo Tarot study, and bring in this one for 1 week, bring in another for another, and this is the one. Okay, so some of them, so you know, like I'm just thinking, because it's hard to see. Silentium, and the actual keyword is stillness, although it looks like it's water. I don't know, it doesn't look still, but it works. Rage, little rage, play, desire. Love the color palette. I even like that it's glossy because I've been shuffling this bad boy a lot and it's still like intact. Sometimes a good glossy deck will be wonderful for shuffling all the time. Just sometimes, not all the time. Some of them take a beating and don't, you know, they don't hold up. This is contentment. I like this one, detachment. So pretty. I really like that a lot. This is an interesting one with nurturing. But the artwork is explained. Here's the guidebook. Let me show you the guidebook real fast. You know I did an unboxing of this one. I started coming across decks that I hadn't did walkthroughs or unboxings for, and I couldn't believe it because in my mind, I thought I had did all of the unboxings of all of my decks that I own, and I didn't. So that's why I like my Deck in Focus series. It's an ongoing series that I do whenever. But I like them because it gives me an opportunity to share with you decks that I had in my collection that I probably never did an unboxing for. And I get to share with you how I've been working with it for months or years. So yeah, so this is the guidebook, you know, very much in depth here. So yeah, that's the first oracle to talk about. Let me set you aside. Oh, I just did a walkthrough of this deck. I won't bore you guys with it, but I have to tell you, I love it. I love this deck. It is the Memento Mori. And I didn't know if I was going to love it a lot because here's the thing. I use the Oracle of Oddities every now and then. Okay, here's the little guidebook. I have to be called and drawn to using the Oracle of Oddities, but not this one. I do also use this one for the Hoodoo Tarot study, and I ended up falling in love with it and just started busting out using it randomly for asking, like, all sorts of questions. I'll just say that. But I did a live. I think it might have been my last live that I did was the walkthrough of this deck. I really like it. This is the indie version. There is no other version, but in case later on she's inspired to do a mass market, this is the indie version. Like, just so we clear. I have not used the Lenormand as a Lenormand. I just use all of the cards as an oracle, and it sings with the Hoodoo Tarot. Okay, it sings. Okay. All right, stars. This is an interesting stars card. So because we already went through that, I'm now going to move on to the tarot. If you want to check out this deck further, just look at that live. It's my most recent live after this one. Or before this one, right before this one. Okay. Tarot. First one is no surprise. Here's my tarot deck, so you don't be disgusting. Okay. So it is the Antique Anatomy. Oh my God. I really like this deck. Now, most of my decks are not very pit-like. I like a fully illustrated deck. That's just what I like. Okay. But, well, I do have a few choice Pippish style decks that I appreciate. And this would be one of them. Oh, highly responsive, highly accurate. This is the second copy that I have. I talked about that in the last video, but I would be remiss not to share it with you. Once I open this bad boy up, I can't stop using it. I will use it as like if my client say I allow one. I'm jumping in my words, but I'll allow one follow-up question after a reading, right? So they'll say, and rarely do they ask. I love my clients, I have the best, but they do. And instead of just pulling out the light seers or whatever, sitting down, I might be laying in bed and have my laptop on my lap and use this deck. And the messages are so clear and on point and just, I don't know how to say it. It's like responsive. And just like, if I ask the same question, and I'll reshuffle it, if I ask the same question, usually the same card or a card with similar meanings will jump out. It is quite, here's the Three of Swords. It's a keeper. So I'm feeling all lovey-dovey towards it. I ordered, and I think it's on its way. It should be here by next week. A little cover for it, so I don't always have to have it in this big box. I like the box too. Interestingly enough, the box, I think, and they probably will say it's the same box, but the box that I have from the first time I purchased this felt better to me. This is still a nice quality box for mass market, but this one had some tears, but that could be because of the shipping that it had to go through to get here. So I like it a lot. A lot. It's one of my top decks. So probably at the end of the year, I like to do top decks. I like to do top decks. What is it? Top 10 of 2020, let's say. Probably for 2021, this is going to be on there. I'm just saying. It's a prediction. It's a prediction. Let's see what. Ooh, you live in Massachusetts? Ooh, see what I'm saying? I can't be talking. I feel like it gets cold there. I think I can't be talking to folks and being all like, yeah, the cold to me is 45. It's cold to me, but then it's, relative, I suppose. Let's see. Ah, thank you. I am enjoying myself. Thank you all for joining me. It makes it fun. Let's see, good size guidebook for the Oracle. It is. It really is. I am impressed I'm assuming you're talking about the Sybil's Oraculum because it's a really good, it's meaty. And there's some cards that just have a few lines, and then there's some cards she goes really in depth in some sections in the part of that system that she has going, which I encourage you to explore if you have the Sybil's Oraculum. I did try it out. I'm just like, sometimes like when a creator has a system in mind, I'm the rebel. My sun sign is Aquarius, and so I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do my thing. And then I might eventually come back to using it properly. But yeah. I wish they make this mass market. I love the tarot. I know. They probably will. They probably will. I mean, they did, they made the tarot mass market, so I don't know. I really love the tarot too. Next up, I feel like, we have it right here. I just purchased it. I think I did an unboxing, not a walkthrough. This is the Southern Oracle. All three of these oracles are the decks that I have been using this month with my, Hoodoo Tarot study. I don't really discuss the oracle decks, and I will do a separate video of the ones I use in my professional readings, but that is because I created those oracle decks out of stock photos. So, it's like, I can show you guys that, but primarily I use the decks I created along with the Power of Surrender Oracle. Every now and then, like a career or money type of specialized oracle. But the tarot, like the Light Seers, is my main reader. Maybe the Smith Waite if I'm feeling called for a throwback. So, and that's what it is month to month to month to month to month, week to week to week, So here it's a little more fun because it's whatever I'm working on with you guys is where it's at for me to share. So I'm going to say it out loud here. We have, how far are we? Almost. Steady progress, stamina, travel, a road trip, enjoy the journey. I really like this deck. I probably this month, I'm thinking I'm going to use it, as opposed to working so much with it with the Hoodoo Tarot study, I have been actually drawn to do more like draws, like every other day I draw with it and kind of sit with the messages. It works with the Hoodoo Tarot, it does. But I'm finding the magic for me right now in this time and space with this deck is to use it more for just like messages for me for the day or for the week or whenever I feel drawn to pull some new cards. So anyways, I can't wait to get to, I skipped this one. I went out of order. You guys have to forgive me. I forgot to mention it. Next up is the Delta Enduring Tarot. This is a deck that is out of print. I don't usually like talking about it because it is out of print, and I know some people feel a certain kind of way about YouTube creators sharing out of print decks, but it's near and dear to me. I like to bust it out for Pride Month. It's special. It really is. So let's go through the Delta Enduring, shall we? Let's see. Here's the Warrior of Moths. Moths would be the traditional air suit or swords. Let's see. Seer of Oaks. Oaks is wands, right? No? Yes. You're like, I don't know. This would be pentacles because these are like little cast iron skillets. Three of, I forgot, what do they call it? Cast irons. I wanted to say cast iron skillets. I'm like, that's too long. Like, so here is the 7 of what would be traditionally the earth suit. Okay. Novice of cast iron. So this would be like your page of pentacles. Okay. 7 of clams. Or is it oysters? I don't have a guidebook right near me, and I don't really use the guidebook when I'm using this deck. So if it's clams today, it might be oysters tomorrow. Let's see. Here is the Four of Moths. Here's the Star. Oh, it is oysters, but this one is, oh, Novice of Oysters. This is the Page of Cups. Look at the hand, though. Novice of Oaks. That, but in the tree. Sage of Moss. So the seer is like equivalent to the queen. The sage, I believe, is the king. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. It is really unique. So it's the Delta Enduring, and so the Delta is like in the like in Louisiana, kind of Mississippi, but it's the area called the Delta, and the creator is from that area, and people wanted this deck to be printed again, but it didn't happen, and we don't know if it ever will. So this is like an area, you know how they do those aerial, like not weather shots, but when you're looking down, like, you know what I'm saying, like it looks like that. This is probably what the Delta looks like. Love of Backs is reversible, and here's the Ten of Oaks, so Ten of Wands. I love this deck so much. I've had it for a few years. Here's the Empress. It's quite special to me. And like I said, I don't bust it out a lot because people might feel a certain kind of way. I actually still, like, there was a time people were like inboxing me, and I love y'all. Y'all were inboxing me to purchase the deck from me. And I'm like, well, it's at this time not for sale. So there you go. So I could go on and on, but super diverse. I was hoping lovers would pop up so you could see. Oh, here's the Three of Moss, Three of Swords. I love that one a lot. And it has additional cards like the Hurricane, Termite Swarm, which now I know what they mean. I didn't know what termite swarms were until moving here. I think Heat Wave is another. There's one more. I can't think of the fourth. There's like four additional cards to this tarot. I'll look at the Seer of Oysters. She's pretty. Okay. Yeah. Moths. Okay. I saw a ginormous moth here the other day. I was a little freaked out. I'm just gonna say, hello, Nomi. Hi. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for joining. I'm so happy you're here. The levy. Thank you. Thank you. It's the levy. The levy. Heavy. The levy. Okay. I love all of the additional cards that were added to this deck. Thank you, Nomi, for reminding me, because that is a powerful card. That's a powerful card. Let's see. All right. So we did that. We already talked about two of the three tarot decks I wanted to talk about. The last one is a recent addition to my collection. I did do an unboxing, I believe, of this deck, or a walkthrough. I've been now changing kind of the names of what I'm doing. Sometimes it's true unboxing, and now probably more recently you're going to be seeing more walkthroughs or flip throughs and deck and focus videos or lives. This is a special one. This was something I needed to spoil myself with. I needed this. You guys know that. It actually had been on my wish list for a while. I did a deck interview to see if it was going to be a proper addition to the collection, and it is. It is. I did even use it in some of my client like video like readings or live readings, like not touching. I don't know if I'm going to let folks touch this deck because it's very special to me. Here's the gilding. It is so pretty. Here's the backs. So check out the walkthrough. I think it's a walkthrough. Check that out. I'll show you some of them here just so we can chat about this deck for a moment. It is beautiful. It feels so good and it shuffles like a dream, like magic. It's like butter. Like, I'm trying to think. It's like, it feels like the Moonchild, but not as thick of stock, cardstock. You know, I still have to break it up and split it in two to ripple shuffle it, and I'm very gentle even with ripple shuffling. I usually overhand shuffle. Oh, look, it's in order because I was using this deck in conjunction with my Hoodoo Tarot study videos that I'm doing. The next, I have a series going with that. So I like to have this as one of the comparison decks to stand next to the Hoodoo so we can draw out more of the meaning as we look at those cards. Here's the Page of Wands. I love the color palette. At first I wasn't sure, but when I actually have it in hand, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love all the pop of like color that's in it. Like I would never associate a beautiful like jadey, like tealy color with the wands, but for some reason it just works. Here's the Devil. You see that little gold foil up there around his head. I wish I could zoom in on that. That was nice. So yeah, so I was using this deck as well, but also what brought it out was because I was using it in videos. But then I ended up just like, oh no, I feel so good. And it was one of my spoiled decks. I realized that I'm now in a place where I'm only forecast to add about 5 decks total for the year of 2021 to my collection. And I'm going to be selling a lot that are still at my parents' house when I get there in December. So if I can, I like the pace that I'm at. And if I sell a whole bunch of those and give away a bunch of them, the ones that are not here but are my parents, and maybe even here, we'll see. It'll be nice. Because 4 to 5 decks a year is good. And this one was one of my purchases, and I'm very happy with it. No regrets. No regrets. Any additions to your collection? What decks have you all been working with in June? Oh my goodness, you're so sweet. No, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just grateful to have a new deck to the collection. But I have to say, I've been so busy like deep diving into a few decks that it's such a nice, beautiful surprise when a new one comes to the collection. Whereas before, it was starting to be kind of par for the course. I was always getting a new deck at the door when I lived in Sacramento. I still enjoyed every bit of like unboxing videos with a new deck. But once the high of purchasing the new deck went away, so did for me, the use of that deck. Like it just sat on my shelf after just doing an unboxing and maybe touching it once, maybe twice afterwards, sometimes not even. So this makes it special. So whenever it comes, my friend, it comes. Thank you. Yes, I saw a few. I saw a few of them. And I hope in my unboxing or walkthrough, I don't know if it was an unboxing, I don't remember. But in the unboxing, I keep saying that because I'm so used to saying it. Of my video, I listed some of the walkthroughs that inspired me to make the purchase, to make the leap. The names, they escape my mind, but not my heart, as they say. It is gorgeous. It's a great reader too. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but I actually really resonate with it, and it feels so luxurious in my hands. Ooh, yes. I don't have the spoiler, but that is definitely, I don't, and you know, I can't even compare like how it feels in your hand. But I know I like what I see with the spoiler because there's a book called The Creative Tarot. I think it's what it's called. And the deck that is like the inspiration or what the author was using to discuss how to use tarot creatively was the spoiler, I believe. And I was like, ooh, I need that in my life. But I need all the decks in my life. Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Like the Antique Anatomy was like, oh, girl, I know you are trying to be loyal and faithful to the Hoodoo, but me and you got to have an affair. We are going to have an affair. And oh, did we? We got together whenever, you know, so it's okay. It is okay. Sometimes it's nice to change it up too because it can get a little heavy and you're using this deck for a kind of heavier type of spiritual work that it's just nice to have a change of pace. I just got the Witch's Wisdom, so I've been diving into that. Ooh, that one was a surprise because a lot of decks haven't really been on my radar like it used to be when I was doing all these unboxings and things. But then when I finally saw the Witch's Wisdom, like when I saw like some images online, I was like, oh, this is cool. I see why everybody's loving it. I do. See, I'm laughing too, because like, I can relate. Who's walkthrough I watch? Ah, it could have been, but I know that there was a few that I watched. Actually, I watched numerous ones because now when I'm getting ready to drop some serious dough on a deck, because this one was kind of on the pricier end of things, of my budget that I like to spend for decks. But sometimes I'll break the bank for special ones like this one. But I have to be sure. So how I'm sure is I watch tons of unboxings, tons, if I can, walkthroughs, flip throughs, or just people using it. Like maybe they're doing a reading for the collective. I want to see how the person is interacting. I know I may have a different relationship with the deck once it comes into my collection, of course, but it's just to be sure. Now, if it was mass market, inexpensive to get, I may not watch as many flip throughs and unboxings as I would for an expensive indie, but yeah. Yeah, no. Brain like Swiss cheese over here. Me too, Nomi. OMG, I know, see? We just see, it's that deck, like we all can relate with all of this. I can relate. I have been having an affair with another deck, and I'm supposed to be leading a tarot study, but yeah, I had that. I had to have an affair. So yeah, that was what was on my plate this month. It was a lot going on. I'm trying to think anything else that I have been up to. I covered all the decks though, that's for sure. I covered all the books, and I'm just gonna see what you guys, if you had anything that you were feeling or loving in June. And I also just want to take this time to thank you guys for joining me and spending if it's morning, afternoon, evening, night with me. I am so grateful. I just love you guys so much. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, trying to make sure that I keep the content going on the YouTube channel. it can be like, oh gosh, do I? It's a lot. And then I'm like, there's, so many beautiful channels emerging every day. I'm like, well, I can just kind of sit back on my little laurels for a moment. But no, I can't, because I enjoyed this. I enjoyed relating with you guys so much. It's a highlight. This is to chat with you guys in this way is a highlight for me. And now I'm starting to look forward to lives because I'm like, I get to actually interact with you real time. Aw, I love y'all too. Oh my God, I do. You guys are the constant in my life of change right now. So thank you. Thank you. Because good Lord, like, oh, it's a lot. But I signed up for all this change. I did it. I did it to me. So I only have me to blame. But my answers were like, oh, you want some change, girl? We got you. I'm like, oh no, what did I ask for? But that's what it is. So, Aquarius Isle. I'm going to remember Massachusetts. You're an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius. So I love owls. So your name is easy to remember. So great catching alive with you, Jen. Emmy. Emmy. M-A. M-A. I like that. Not Emmy. I have a friend named Emmy. That must mean I need to call her. Thank you, Tarot Girl Live. Thank you, Iridescency. You know, I like saying your name too. In May. God, yeah, didn't I? Like, be careful what you want to manifest because guess what? Come hell or high water is coming. And you just gotta just hold on for dear life and just be like, hey, I signed up for it. Here we go. All right, guys. Well, I've held you up long enough, so I will let you all go. Have a wonderful weekend wherever you are. And thanks so much for watching and joining me. Take care.